In society today, we are being attacked constantly with inauthentic conversations. Fakeness, trying to look cool, trying to be somebody we're not. That is why the Damn Dude podcast is here to have the authentic conversations that need to be had in a way that will make you think and say, Damn Dude.
What up, everybody? What is good? Welcome to the Damn Dude podcast.
Damn Dude.
Damn, dude.
This is season 3, episode 65. Welcome to the show, you guys. Welcome. This is a show where we have the conversations that need to be had in a way that'll make you think and say, damn, dude.
Damn Dude.
This show exists to help educate, entertain, and make an impact on the different contexts and perspectives that we have in life. Because I truly believe and have discovered that the more access we have to different contexts and perspectives, the easier, smoother, doper, and just flat out cooler life is. Yeah, dig? So welcome to the show, you guys. Welcome. If you're new here, I'm your host, California Cal, and what up? Yeah, so what's good, you guys? How you guys doing? If you want to know who I am, go back and find... I usually kind of do like a recap of who I am at the start of each season. So you can go back to the first episodes of each season and I kind of tell my story and kind of break down who I am, what this is all about, all that stuff, if that's really important to you. Otherwise, in a deeper regard, I'm nobody special. I'm just here to help deliver the message. And the message of what? Well, the message of authenticity and the message of, yo, we're all in this shit together. And the more that we can get emotionally educated and get more educated on our thoughts and our contexts and our perspectives in life, then, like I said, this whole thing of life just becomes easier in a way. And it's easier to appreciate things when we practice playing with our context and our perspectives, right? So I'm just the vehicle of delivery. Yeah. So anyways, okay, let's just get into this. I was going to say more about that, but it's not important. So I was thinking about, and I had heard the phrase or the words, I guess, emotional inheritance. And I was thinking of that and I was like, damn, like, okay, that's something that I have thought of. I've just kind of summed it up as generational baggage or shit that's passed on in your family, right? But then I think about it and it's like, all right, well, emotional inheritance applies also to the situations that I've been in life outside of my family, right? Like when I've, being out in the streets, being out in school, being out in here, there, wherever, right? Like, being in other countries, whatever, doing stuff alone, whatever, right? You inherit different emotional understandings and learnings the more we travel, the more we go out. And to me, that's a different context, a different perspective. So when I look at it, it's like, well, how many things in our emotional inheritance from our ancestors and relatives like truly equal the language that we hear and use in our own thinking mind?
Damn, dude.
Right? So it's like, how many things did we inherit by our influences, by our family, by whoever coming up that equal us thinking highly or negatively about ourselves or how we act or what we do or what we're up to or anything of that sort? So I think about how we all, and to kind of like frame this and take this a little deeper, I think about when we went from kids, how we all went from some version, right? And it's like some people had a fucked up life from the start, and some people didn't experience any fucking real problems until they became a full-grown adult, and everything and everybody in between and beyond, right? So, in general, we go from kids to teens to young adults to needing extreme amounts of healing. And it's like, what happened between then and now? Right? It's like, well, fuck, life happened. I experienced fucking war, trauma, death, injuries, bullying, whatever, right? Like, people can have experienced so many things, and it's like the range of people that I've met and talked to in my life, it's like, I know people who've been raped, people who've been nearly murdered, people who've murdered people who have fucking everything, right? Like, so it's just trippy and fascinating to me to see how different people go through different things in life and contextualize it all differently upon growing up. And it's like, what happens from being an innocent kid to being hardened, right? Like, why in the process do we become so hardened and then we just can't go back? Or so it seems, right? And it's like, it's most popular for men to just stay hardened rather than to step back into their playfulness, their silly, loving, fun, like that side of them. Where, like, charisma, like the birthplace of charisma almost, how I see it in a sense, where it's like you can go back and like reignite the spark of the child that's in you. And I don't mean to act childish or be immature, but more so what I mean is to be able to be so comfortable with yourself that you're willing to play and just like do you know what I mean? And like, to be able to be expressive in the way that you want to, in the way that kid you chose to be expressive. So like for myself, I remember thinking back to when I was a kid, when I was 6, my grandma, or my little sister, my grandma, and my great aunt all passed away in the same month. And with that happening, it hardened me. And like, it hardened my soul, it hardened my emotions, it hardened the language that I spoke within myself, within my thinking mind. It became super hardened, and that was when I started looking up to gangsters and gangs and thugs and started like really taking what rap music was saying and listening to it in such a different level, and just observing all the shit that was going on in my neighborhood and that people were doing and different family members were up to, and different people and just my neighbors, what they were up to, just seeing all the things that I saw, from drugs to fights to fucking, everything about drugs, selling, buying, using, brawls in the street, like all sorts of shit. It's funny. It's not funny, but it's a trip. I was just talking to my girl about that the other day. Of like, I was just telling the story of how when I used to walk home in like 2nd, 3rd grade, I would just see like all these adults outside my house brawling because my neighbor sold drugs, and then he was like fucking our other neighbor's wife, and it was just like this whole crazy mix of fuckery all stirred into one little fucking pot basically. And shit was just cracking off. So it's like, I remember coming home, and I think I've told this story before. Well, yeah, I have. But I remember coming home and seeing, I'm walking home and I'm by myself. I'm coming down my street by my damn self. And I'm in like I said, like 2nd or 3rd grade. Excuse me. And I remember seeing a dude getting his head smashed onto the hood of the car. I see another dude get fucking thrown through, his head smashed through, and him thrown through the side window of the car. I see another dude get fucking picked up and thrown and slammed into the front window of the car, the windshield. And I see people just fighting. There's blood everywhere, and it's just like full-grown men just going at it. And I'm a little kid, and I'm like, fuck, man, this shit's scary, dude. And it's like, I was like, all right, maybe I can go walk around the block the other direction and come to my house the other way. But the way that the brawl was happening on both occasions was that like it was spread out like across both sides of my house. So it's like no matter which way I went, I would have to go through these people. And I remember like just being a little kid, like, I don't know, almost like creating like a bubble for myself and just seeing a little break in the chaos and being like, all right, I'm just cutting through that little fucking channel of opportunity that I see right now to make it through. And it's like, all right, I'm going to make it through. I'm going to fucking survive, right? So thinking back, that was an experience that had hardened me. It had shown me that that I can't really trust adults, that I can't really trust people, that the people in charge can't even handle themselves necessarily, or that that's just how shit's handled. Like fighting was a very normal thing in my neighborhood and in my upbringing. It was very normal to fight shit out and then at the end shake hands, hug it out. And, you know, it's like, I think about the way that that hardened me and the way it made me put walls up and the way that it would make me like, it taught me to like energetically blast people away in a sense. And that's basically like what it means to put a wall up, is like you've got an energy field that you've put up. And most of the time we put that wall, that energy field up when we're little kids. The moment that like some shit feels unsafe in life, we put that energy wall up, that energy shield, our bubble, our space, and are like, nope, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Sort of thing. If you are one of the people who've experienced crazy shit as you know, in your upbringing. So I think about it and it's like, all right, well, being now that I don't need that same level of protection to walk around daily life, do I need to walk around with that hardness, that level of protection? Like, what am I protecting if I'm a full-grown man and I can project a scary image if I need to? I don't need to walk around like I'm all hard, right? Because it's like, if I walk around all hard, then there's more opportunity to meet chaos and to meet other hardness and in turn have conflict. And it's like, man, I'm not trying to have conflict in any way, shape, or form in my life. So if I can walk around in a state of openness and receiving, then I'm more so in a state of openness and receiving. And what would you rather receive? Somebody trying to fight you, or people trying to like give you opportunities and take care of you and hook you up and look out for you and your family, right? Shit like that. What about that? I would rather have that. That's the cool shit to me. You know, so it's like, I've met fucking anger with anger. I've met ignorance with ignorance. I've met fucking hardness with hardness. I've met emotional damage with emotional damage. And it's like, great things do not get created when men meet that way, or men and women, or women and women, or however, right? So it's a trip to think that it's like, yo, we went from kids just free, connected to God, connected to source, connected to spirit, and all of a sudden, like, we became hardened. Shit got scary in our upbringing. At some point, you might have been in real danger. It might have been beyond scary. I understand that. Been there plenty times myself. So it's like, bringing this kind of back again, it's like, all right, well, what's the emotional inheritance from our ancestors and relatives? What thing happened to our fucking dad or mom when they were fucking, I don't know, anywhere from 4 to fucking 20 something years old, to where they said, you know what? No, fuck that. Never again. And they held that on. They held that. Or they went the opposite of whatever their parents did to an extreme. Right? So it's like, And then it's like, well, what was their parents, your grandparents' version of their emotional state, and what did they decide when they were little kids that they said, you know what, fuck this, never again is this happening, da da da, creating new standards or eliminating standards, right? And that's basically like what ends up happening in when emotional inheritance or baggage or trauma or however the fuck you want to call it gets passed down. So the language that we hear and use in our thinking mind is most typically in relation to the emotional inheritance from our ancestors and relatives and influences in life, because you can also never meet your parents and still have that same thing in you. You know what I mean? Your DNA, your cellular structure, there's just a certain pieces of you where it's like, yeah, you can change your cellular structure and it changes and renews and resets itself frequently, but not to the point where your entire fucking makeup is changed and different, right? Like you can adopt and adapt different mannerisms and shit like that. Like me and my oldest son, like we're not blood related, but at the same time, well, I guess we kind of are now because his little brother's blood. Anyways, he's technically my oldest son is my stepson. So, which I don't like saying that, but just for the point of how this makes sense, is in that scenario, there's a lot of things and instances where he's taken on mannerisms of me. And because that I was in his influence and his upbringing. So it's like he's adopted natural movements and things and features and ways of like speaking and inflections and nuances and things like that he's learned from me that I've influenced at the same time, which are his own entirely, which are also at the same time his biological father's version and his mother's version of how he acts and moves and all that. And like I said, still his own version. So it's like we're all a mix of all these things. So as much as I can influence him and his I don't know, presence, I guess, it can only go to a certain limit, right? And that's what's fascinating is like, well, shoot, as soon as we point the spotlight at all these things, then we're able to kind of like unpack it. Then it's all even and it doesn't really have to mean anything. It's more so just a reference point, a point of understanding. It's like a pillared. It's like you need a fucking pillared under a bridge. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just that it's to fucking make sure that the whole fucking bridge works, right? So the pillared in our mind is our emotional inheritance and our emotional state, which determines the language that we hear and speak from our mind. And it's like, well, we can use that same modality that took us from being from being free ass kids to being hardened ass teenagers and adults and so on. We can use that same modality, the same methodology to go backwards with it and reverse it. We can do the same thing and reverse it. Take it from hardness back to some softness.
Damn, dude.
Now, here's the thing. Just because you've introduced softness back into your life, and this has been such a hard thing for me because I actually just never really had softness in my life, is learning how to accept it, learning how different aspects of softness and femininity and things like that charge up my masculinity and charge up me as a man, right? It's like a woman being sexy is, and if I get to be in the presence of and experiencing a woman being sexy, that means that it's like, yeah, I'm not trying to be feminine, but I'm trying to accept this femininity, right? And it's like, I don't want you like acting and moving masculine or like a dude or speaking like a dude or smelling like a dude or, right? Anything like that. It's like, no, bring that femininity here. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, That's what it means to accept femininity in your life as a man. It doesn't mean that, oh, I gotta go and act all pussy and fucking, wear makeup and put on a dress and do this and that. It's like, no, I can just be myself and welcome the presence of all the fucking femininity that I can experience, right? And that's the beauty of it. It's like this comes in many fucking forms. And if you take indigenous teachings and spiritual teachings and even teachings from language, it's that there's a masculine and a feminine energy to everything. And sometimes there's a little bit of both. Sometimes one's more than the other. Sometimes there's hints of one or the other. Sometimes one's solely one. Sometimes one's solely the other. And if you're this far into listening to any of this podcast, it's like we've talked about the masculine and the feminine and what that really means and how it exists. And it's not this, oh, toxic. No. Not that shit. It's like there's just being emotionally irresponsible and having your masculinity just fucking flow all over the place. And that's what people call toxic masculinity. But that's the thing, is masculinity is not toxic in its own. It's that, like, what you do with it, right? It's the same thing as like a gun or a knife or a fucking hammer or a truck. It's like, well, what are you going to do with it? You know what I'm saying? It's not good or bad. It's just, I mean, they're all more so good when they're used for the right purpose. You see what I'm saying? If you're trying to go hunt and eat and you shoot a fucking deer, the gun is good, right? It's like, okay, or you're going to starve to death. So the gun equals good. All right, are you going to use that hammer to bash somebody's fucking face in? Or are you going to use it to fucking build a skate park for your kids or whatever the fuck, right? So it's like that applies to anything. Masculinity, it's like, all right, well, what are you going to do with it? How responsible are you of the power of it? And a lot of dudes aren't responsible enough to handle the power of and that masculinity is. So what I've learned is that what happens, like, and as I say it again, it's like what happens from when we went from kids to hardened adults is that our emotional inheritance from our ancestors and relatives, which equal the language we hear and use in our thinking mind, has all crystallized, or I should say, has all caught up and crystallized. And when we don't do the work to heal the emotional and generational shit, it just stays and it remains and it grows and it just keeps adding and calcifying and crystallizing. And the more that happens, the harder it is to shake off and to let go of that weight. Then it takes somebody who's like a black sheep of the family, who's fed up as fuck, to do the work and transcend a whole lot of different shit. And then it's like to allow the space of growing up and healing and all that to happen from a brand new level and perspective again. So this is why, for me, it's important that we all participate in and practice ceremony in different fashions, and we use different plant medicines and modalities and natural things. And plant medicine also includes breath work, meditation, prayer. That is a version, I should say, a branch of what plant medicine means. Because without those things, you're doing drugs. And it's easy to fucking do drugs versus using something ceremoniously, ritualistically, and very intentionally, and aligning your diet, aligning your energy, aligning your sleep, aligning the math of your day to be correct and equal the right fucking number and the right equation, I should say, for you to be able to go and dive into what you need to dive into based off of what's outside of your natural emotional inheritance and language that you hear and speak and use.
Damn, dude.
So that's why ceremony, natural modalities, plant medicines, things of that nature, is because it allows you to hear from outside your natural thinking mind in a controlled way that's safe and practical and very, very, very fucking applicable to your everyday real life. So it's like the way I see it, or not the way I see it, but this is true, is that it's been shown that meditation helps cleanse and oxygenate the cells. And when you oxygenate the cells, when you slow your heart rate down, when you're breathing fresh air intentionally, and you're scanning through your whole body, and you're drawing the breath all the way, from your crown to your root, all the way through everything, it starts breaking up the crystallization of the caught up language and emotional inheritance that we've been passed on. So when you oxygenate the cells, it's like most of the time people say, oh, it's genetic, it's a genetic inheritance. Well, hold on a minute. Most of the time it's only a genetic inheritance because you haven't looked at the emotional inheritance. So a lot of time it's like our relation to, let's say, having a disease or an ailment or whatever. Let's say you got cancer. How do you relate to cancer is often what's going to dictate whether you fucking end up with it or not. Yeah, there's the factor of eating and this and that and whatever, and genetics, yes. But also the emotional inheritance of these genetics as well, right? It's not just one side where it's like, it's mind, body, spirit, not mind, body, mind, body, mind, body, right? It's mind, body, spirit. Like, motherfucker, mind, body, spirit. Like, all of those things have to be in sync in order to really fucking move forwards righteously, wholesomely, sovereignly in this lifetime. So when we can do the fucking work and clear the shit now, not pass it on to our kids, right? Because the pains of our life exist in our body language. Like real shit. The pains of our lives exist in our body language. Our body language, our movements, our tone, our everything gets passed on and picked up from our kids. What if you could be a freer, more fun, open, loving, playful, free-flowing adult for and with your children, to fucking jump into imagination land with them, to fucking jump into their world, to see it as, to fucking see the fucking lava where the lava is, to see, you know what I'm saying? Like, to be there. And it's like, or are you too crystallized and calcified to be able to even put yourself back in that place again? And that's where I see most adults are too crystallized, too calcified, and they're not able to even see the magic that exists around them. There's fucking lava on the floor, motherfucker. Oh no, have fun. Like, you suck. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, dude, I catch myself there. It's like, I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means with this shit, but very often and frequent, you can find me playing or being weird or fucking acting like this or that, or just whatever, right? Like balancing on walls or just whatever the fuck, right? Like skateboarding or this or that. Like, so anyways, let's do the work, you guys. Let's not pass this shit on to our society, our community, our children, our family, our friends. None of that shit. And that's why I record all this for my future generations, is so that, like, yo, you guys can hear the bullshit in my language. You can hear the fucking power in my language. You can hear the authenticity of it all. You can hear when I'm being authentic or inauthentic. You get to hear all of it. You can hear when I'm wrong. You can hear when I'm right. You can hear when I'm fucking on to something or not. And this just is where I'm at. Take it from here. Run with it. This is where the fuck I'm at. So, that's what the fuck. You know what I mean? It's like, so, to who listens to this and who this lands, dude, create something that will leave a legacy for you. Create something that changes the emotional inheritance for your children and your children's children and your children's children's children, and so on. Right? Why the fuck not? Because I think it's selfish to hear those words, have that understanding, and leave absolutely no trace of yourself for the rest of your family and future generations. And it's a trip because oftentimes when people will hop on a podcast episode, and that's enough for them as far as like leaving their legacy or their, who they are behind. And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not downing that at all. Like, I think that's really fucking cool because you kind of get to put it into one thing. And it's just like, bam, a quick snapshot. And that's cool. That's fucking, I very much believe in it. And that's part of what I wanted to do with this, really, is to be able to help people who are really fucking influential and dope-ass motherfuckers create a snapshot of who the fuck they are so that there's something for people to listen to as they pass, as they carry on, as their future generations come up. You know, I've been able to do these podcasts and speak on, about people who've passed away and their families have gone and like passed the episodes around. And like, to me, I didn't even think about that at first. I'm like, I didn't even think this would find these people. I just did it from my experience of it. Right? Like different homies I've known that have passed away where it's like, I didn't really know their families or anything. So it's like, or we weren't like super duper close, but we were close on like a surface level sort of thing, or like a street sort of thing, or a just quick friend sort of thing, or always to skate together, or whatever, right? Like, it's a trip to see that some of these people have gone and listened to and heard these episodes, and it just helps like frame these people's legacy. And I'm like, whoa, that's fucking cool. And that's kind of my whole idea too, is like, all right, I want to be able to help showcase all my homies who are just fucking cool as fuck, that like, I'm like, yo, I can't believe I know this person. Can you believe what the fuck this person has to say and how they're talking? Like, isn't this phenomenal? And like, if you listen to any of the episodes, you can listen through and you're like, damn, whether you agree or not, it's like, this is an exceptional fucking person. Whoa, hella leaves just started falling out of the tree out of nowhere. Whoa. That was cool. It just started like dumping leaves outside. No, but it's like, I think that's so cool. And then also what it does on a deeper level is like, for me, I think it's really cool that when you get to hear yourself, and almost any of the people who I've interviewed on the show are the type of people that go back and go inward and learn about themselves, what they said, what they could do better, this and that. And that gives you another snapshot of like who you are based off of what you say under pressure or under when the light is on you, right? So it's a trip, dude. So like, it gets to also reframe their emotional inheritance and their language that they use and speak from their mind, right? Because a lot of times when people are on a podcast interview, at least at first, it's like you're using your brain to think and communicate. Then at a certain point, it stops and it switches. And then people just kind of get into a flow state. Like once we hit the right trajectory, we go deep with something, then the shit starts flowing. And when we hit a flow state, you hear it, you feel it. Usually I just get really quiet and I'm like, whoa, like every couple moments or so. Because I'm blown away. I'm truly blown away by what my friends, my people have to say. So when I look at emotional inheritance, what's fascinating about it is that I don't say just our parents or our family or just our inner circle. I say our ancestors and our relatives, because it's the same reason why multiple people can grow up in the same house with the same rules and come out both very different with different contexts about the entire thing and life and their experience of it. And it's like, well, fuck, how do all these people, how do you get four or five kids grow up in the same house, all with an entire different experience of it? and the way that they process emotions and the way that they process pain and despair and hurt and confusion and emotional overload or whatever the fuck, right? If the parents can only set two examples, being each their own example, and then I guess how they work together. But first, that's their two main examples. And who and how they are the only two options, really. I mean, I guess you have your older siblings you would look at and stuff, which would determine and dictate that. So that is a factor as well, I'll say. But it's a trip, though, because it's like, at the same time, if you got 5 kids and 2 parents, the 2 parents are the main example of handling and regulating emotional things that occur. And at the same time, every kid can take it differently. Under the same guidance and same rules and same fucking principles and philosophies and all this, right? And it's like, yeah, because we're each our own individual, of course. And at the same time, it goes deeper than that, which is also why it's like they can all have the same examples set forth for them of how to handle things emotionally and regulate emotionally, and then all handle it all differently. Well, that's because it's based off of their emotional inheritance from their ancestors or relatives. So the language that each child is speaking and hearing when they use their thinking mind is different. It's tuned different. So based off of, it's like, and that's the thing is when we go deep and like, I might lose some of you guys here, like with this is very woo woo stuff, but it's like, when we go deep into our ancestors, it's oftentimes that our relatives will take on different roles as relatives in past lives. So for example, somebody who's your mom or your dad now could have been your brother, or you could have been their mom or dad, or you could have been their uncle or aunt, or brother or sister, male or female, could have been switched, whatever, in previous lives. So it's like, that's why when you hear woo-woo people talk and they tap into things, sometimes you'll hear the conversation of like, whoa, like you were my mom one time, or like, oh shit, like you were my brother one time or something, right? Because all these things are traceable. It's all stored in the infinite universal storehouse of knowledge, which exists in the 4D world, which is basically where prayers go and land, and not land, I should say, go to and through and come from and exist at. And when we tap into that universal storehouse of knowledge, all infinite things that have ever happened or haven't happened exist inside of there, because it's history. And because we are in the history of time, in the capsule of this time, if we go back, there's the knowledge, and certain people know how to tap in and go back and essentially navigate these huge libraries and pull out different books which are from different time periods, so to say, metaphorically, and give you information out of them and communicate it to you. And sometimes, not sometimes, but almost all the time, oftentimes, when you're doing this sort of work, having this sort of conversation or channeling, that's typically what it would be called. It would be somebody channeling, is that when somebody knows what they're doing, they're saying stuff that is blowing your mind, because it's like, whoa, that's only in words that's like very important to me only. And the person saying it, they don't even remember what they said after they're done saying it, because they're channeling it. So it's like they tapped in, and it's like they're fucking flying down the ladder going, like going through the books, whatever, right? However you want to image that. So, oh shit. Whoa, sorry, dropping my pen. So this is why it's like, when we go back, different people play different roles in our lives. If you look through the history of our spirits and our ancestry, I should say more so, our entire ancestry, because our ancestry includes our blood lineage, and it also includes our spiritual lineage. So there's that. So taking this back again, it's like, this is why you can have all these multiple different people grow up in this exact same household with the exact same rules, understandings, philosophies, base principles, base rules, what we stand for, and then come out completely different, or handle and interpret things completely differently. It's because the language that they speak inside of their mind, which is based off of the ancestral emotional inheritance that they've received or just have by nature, that's what happens. So to tie this whole thing together, let's uncrystallize what's caught up and hardened us and step back into our fun, loving, goofy, playful sides. Because at the same time, if you've been a hard motherfucker and you really are from the shit, you know how to fight. You know how to protect yourself. You just bring that back at any motherfucking second. You know what I mean? Just because you catch me fucking playing around, doing headstands on a surfboard, fucking dancing with my kid, acting like whatever the fuck, you see me on a skateboard, you see me doing this, that, whatever, that doesn't mean that I won't stand up for my motherfucking self. And that doesn't mean that I'm not a motherfucking G. And that does not mean that I will not ride and die for what I stand for and my people. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, dude.
So it's like, no, don't get it twisted. At any moment. But that's the thing, is I'm at peace with that fire. I'm at peace with that demon. But it's like, yo, if you're going to fuck with me, I will have to unleash and untie the demon, because I know how to put him back away too. I've been feeding him. I've been training him. Not feeding him, but I mean keeping it at bay. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's what I talked about, using the darkness on purpose in a sense. And it's like, all right, like, if you need me to unleash this dragon, I motherfucking will. All I got to do is think about it. Not even that. It's just feel it. And this is before it even touches my brain. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, being playful, accepting love, accepting softness, accepting femininity, all of that. That doesn't mean you're not a bad motherfucker. You know what I mean? That does not mean you are not a bad motherfucker. So it's actually, the more you can lean into that and step into that and come from your softness, it almost makes you more intimidating. Because it's like, people can tell when you've got some depth to you. And there's just certain people, when you see their presence, you're like, yo, like, this motherfucker's seen some life. This motherfucker's seen some shit. You know, and it's like, there's just certain people who have that presence. And if you know, you know, you know? And that's where it's like, most of the people I fuck with have some sort of presence that's like, whoa, what's this fucking guy about? Like, who's this? Like, what? Damn, where did you come from? You know what I mean? Like, tell us about you. Like, fuck, how do you stand here as who you are? Like, that's wild, bro. You must have seen some shit to make this level of declaration in your life. To be able to stand up and stand here with the fucking, you know, to stand up and to enter the big leagues, to stand up and really fucking go to bat. And that's the shit. It's like, ooh, I fucking love that. I respect that. And that's like, that. Those are the people that I really want to promote and just fucking be like, yo, let's go. You know what I mean? I'm not asking for a damn motherfucking thing. I don't need anything. I mean, I sure need a lot of shit, but, or don't need, but I would prefer and could use. In some instances, I could need. But you know what? I don't need anything. I don't want anything in return. I don't do it for anything other than I can, and I've been blessed with certain skills and certain teachers and certain instruments of life and certain knowledge about certain things that allow me to help in the ways that I'm able to help and to heal and to help essentially change this inner language that we hear that's based off of our emotional inheritance.
Damn, dude.
So that's basically why I exist and what I'm here for. So it's like, if you see me fucking with you and I'm promoting your shit And I'm like, it's like, well, yo, what does this guy want? Like, what's he being? It's like, no, I just really fuck with it. And I really fucking respect a motherfucker who's been through the shit and is just down to fucking go through it. And it's like, truly, it's why I don't really kick it with a lot of people, or I don't have the like capacity for a lot of people. I'm like, it's too, like, for the depth and amount of shit that I've gone through and the level that like I feel like my brain is operating at based off of the conversations that I have with people, I'm like, okay, this is rare. And this is a golden and beautiful thing to share and engage with the people who get it. Because the people who don't are the people who make fun and crack jokes and this and that and care about other shit. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with those people. But if you have a certain direction and a certain, I guess, depth to the mode that you're playing life at, if you're on a certain level with it or something, I guess if I'm thinking like video games, it's like you just kind of recognize where it's like, I guess talking about like being woke again, it's like that basically would mean it's like, yo, when somebody's talking, you can hear in their words the level that they're at based off of whatever. So it's like, for me, and I'm not like a fucking, what do you call it? Like, I'm not a maniac, right? But like for me, a big level of self-awareness, this is a personal one I just made up, but it's when people use the word hate. And for me, I don't use that word. And I have no problem with people hating things or whatever the fuck, right? I just don't have any hate in my body or that I want to engage in for anything. And like I said, it's my own personal decision, my own personal choice. So when I hear people use the word hate, it rubs me the wrong way, and it's something triggers in me. And I'm like, ooh, that's a heavy ass word. Like, we shouldn't throw that word around. It's too powerful to throw at certain things, to throw at other people's creations, to throw at other people's ideas, to throw at occurrences in life. I don't believe that like 99.9% of the things out here need to be related to in a hateful manner. So that's like one thing to me. It's like, all right, it's like that shows to me the level that potentially people are operating at with their vocabulary and their self-talk, if they're willing to use the word hate. Because I learned for myself how hard it's been to rewire myself, calling myself an idiot. And it's like, fuck, that took so much work. And how much work it took to rewire the word hate out of my vocabulary. So I'm like, okay, it doesn't mean anything, right? It's just like this weird fucking thing that I do automatically in my brain that I've calculated, or that I catch or something, right? Or it snags me, or I don't know, I guess I just catch it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not a fan of that word. I'm not going to use that. And there's a lot of other fucking bad words I'll say before the word hate. And this is the most I've said that word in fucking probably 10 years. So I'm going to stop saying it now. Right? It's like there's a certain wiring that comes with the power of certain words. And I don't want the power of that word in my wiring. So it's just fascinating to think about how the fuck we're wired and where our thinking comes from and who's thinking we're thinking. Right? Whose thinking are you thinking? Man. So let's rewire with better words, because it's a fucking choice. We just can. It'll just make us better. Right? And it's like, oh, fuck that. It's like, okay, cool with that too. at the same time, there's going to be people who are doing the work to get better, get sharper. And I'm not saying I'm the fucking shining example of any of this. I talk like a fucking I don't know what. And at the same time, we're all learning. We're all where we're at. And that's perfect. We got to put the next foot in front of the fucking other. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of about it. Oh, man. You guys, it's been real. And, man, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I love this podcast, and this is cool, man. It's gonna be me and you.
Damn, dude.
I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Please be sure to tell a friend 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 to tell your best friends, cousins, sisters, cousins, uncles, boss who shucks oysters at the local oyster farm, who happens to purchase rubber boots from the Brazilian boot salesman down at the market, who actually gets the boots poured locally at the local LA sweat factory, who happens to have connections in TJ, and they smuggle these boots through furniture and corn to avoid paying taxes, about the Damn Dude motherfucking podcast. Because how do you reach that person? I think the only way is by putting the call out there. I don't know who you are, but whoever you are, if that's you, welcome to the show, and thanks for listening. Yo, please be sure to go donate to Clean Planet. Clean Planet Day, last Saturday of the month, every month, all around the world. We Clean Planet. Yeah. CleanPlanet.com. Link is in the bio. Is that what it's called? Link is in description. Description's the new word. See, I sound like no biography. No, the description. Yeah, swipe up. Okay. Oh, if you don't know, if you're listening to this in like 100 years and you don't know what swipe up means, there was a while where, I don't know if it was on Snapchat also, but on Instagram, I think it was Snapchat, they had a little thing where it's like, if somebody's trying to sell their product and you have a certain amount of followers, then you can put this little feature on your stories where you swipe it up and it takes you to the link. So there was a while where everybody was going, oh, swipe up. And it was just, yeah, it was corny. Anyways, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Please be sure to go share. If you'd like to donate to the show, go hit the Cash App in the description. Yeah, anything helps. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful motherfucking day. This was, and will be the Damn Dude motherfucking podcast. Episode 65, season 3. That's 268 episodes in the books. I love you guys. Have a beautiful day. Much love. Peace.
Damn, dude.